Y'all, shut the front door, stop what you're doing. Have you seen the new text effects that people are going crazy about where you are crossing your words? If you haven't, here is a good example of what this looks like. And this is I feel like a new trend, and I had to stop everything I was doing so that I could get on here and show you guys exactly how to do it in both Canva and Design Space. If you are new here, my name is Lauren, and I'm a craft producer here at Makers Gonna Learn, where we love to bring you inspiration, education, and motivation, and all of the new techniques that we are seeing and show you exactly how to do it. So if you haven't already, make sure you hit that thumbs up button on this video, subscribe to our channel, and hit that bell notification so that you can be notified every time we get crafty here on this channel. So with all of that being said, let's just go ahead and jump right in, and let me show you exactly how you can complete this new trendy text effect in either Canva or Cricut Design Space. The first thing we are going to do is start here in Canva. So we're going to start by creating a new design, and then from there you can choose what size you want to do. We're just going to go with the standard 2000 by 2000 pixels. And then once we have done that, we are ready to start designing this text effect. So first thing we're going to do is we are going to pop a text in there, and I'm actually just going to use my name for this one, just because it's going to be a little bit easier. You can use whatever words you want. If you want to use a sports team, whatever, I'm just going to use my name. And then from there, we are going to choose a bold, chunky font. So you can choose whatever font you want. I'm actually going to go with Birdie, which is a Makers Gonna Learn font that we have uploaded into Canva. So I'm just gonna go with Birdie. One thing you do want to be aware of is the spacing between your letters. I've actually done it with this font, and it's perfectly fine. But if you find a font that you want to use and you want to give a little bit more space in between your letters, how you're gonna do that is up here at the top where you see the T. You can come up here, click on that, and then right here where it says letter spacing, you can move them further apart or bring them together closer. Either one is fine. But I think I'm just going to leave this one at 0. We may go up to maybe like a 10, just to give us some room. So we'll just go with a 10 for some letter spacing. And then you have your text. Now, from here, we do have to create an image. So you can leave it as is. You can go ahead and change the color. Some people like having an outline. If you want to do an outline, what you're going to do is come over here to where it says effects. And then I like to go to the splice. And then from there, I put my direction at 0. And then I bring my offset down to 0. So my direction is 0, my offset is 0. And that gives me a really nice outline. There is this outline function here if you want to use outline. The only problem is the outline actually goes outside of the letters versus splice kind of sits on top of the letters. So I do like splice for that reason. So I'm just bringing my offset to 0 and my direction to 0. And then I'm going to change the thickness so that I can see the middles of the letters. So we're going to bring the thickness down. We'll just go with 15. And then you can choose the color of your text from here as well. Once you have chosen the color, it really doesn't matter, because even when you go to download this, you can change the color. What you're going to do is you're going to come over here to share. You are going to download this image. We are doing it as a PNG. If you have Pro, you can do transparent background. It does make it easier if you do transparent background versus background removal. So we're just going to go transparent background and then download that. Once you have downloaded it, you're going to come over here to your uploads. You're just going to drag and drop that into your downloads, and then we are going to add that to our screen. So now you can see we have two different words, or two different Laurens, if you will. And I just wanted to show you, this is the one we uploaded down here. It is technically a PNG image versus a text. And you can see the text pops up here on this one that is still a font, just a text. And this one does not have that option because we have downloaded it as a PNG, but you can still change the colors if you want to. So we'll just go ahead and change the color. Now, the next step in this process is going to be an app. So you're going to come over here to the left-hand toolbar. You're going to go to your apps, and then you are going to search SKU image. Now, I know you're thinking, but can't you do this with a text? Let me show you. So we're going to choose SKU image. And this is not an option. However, when we click on this image that we downloaded, we can see that we are able to skew the image. So that is why we do have to download it so that it is a PNG. Now from here, we're going to take our horizontal skew down to 0 because we don't want it tilting left or right. We want it going up and down. So then we're going to do our vertical skew, and you can see here on the screen how it skews. If you want to do it this way or if you want to do it this way, either one is perfectly fine. But we're going to live probably around a 20 to a negative 25 vertical skew, whichever one you prefer. And then you are going to add that to your design. So you can see we now have 3 different images. So I'm just going to go ahead and add a page, and I'm going to take this one and move this guy down here. And now we have this beautifully vertically skewed Lauren. And now what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to scale this up to around the same size as the current text on your page. So you can eyeball this if you want to. You can bring out your margins. Just whatever feels right for you. I would like to line up here in the middle and kind of get an idea, but this one might be a little bit big. We're looking somewhere right in there. My end needs to come down just a little bit, and then we'll just move this kind of back toward the middle like this. And now you are ready to start the process of bringing this all together. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate that, and let's just go ahead and change the color so that you can see the difference. We'll make this one this yellow color. So we are going to stack the blue and the yellow together. Now what you need to do is crop the image. So depending on what color you want in the front and the back, you're going to crop accordingly. So I want the yellow to go toward the back. So I'm cropping this way until I reach the middle of the U and the R here without going into either one. And you can see that purple line goes through the middle right there. Now I'm going to zoom back out. I'm going to take this blue portion and I'm going to crop it pretty much to the same portion here. So now we have this text box and this text box are lined up but separate. And now what we need to do is we need to move this one back, and you can do this a couple different ways. I love using shortcut keys, so Command and then left bracket sends it back. If you don't know how to do that, you can come over here to position and go to layers, and you can see here we can move it back behind that. And y'all, it really is that easy to create the cross effect with a text. You can do it with your team colors, lots of different ways you can do this. Now, if you wanted to have 4 different colors, what I would do is just bring back the PNG here, because you can't actually crop a text. You see how it does that? You can't technically crop a text that way. So let me see if I can move it back to where it should be, about right there. So what I would do if I wanted 4 different colors is I would bring this back in, size it up to fit so that it layers over top of the pink like this. Then I would move it back. Now let me move this out of the way, and I'll move my pink so that you all can see. So here we have this one. I would then duplicate this, layer it over top, and do the same thing. That way you can get 4 different colors if you want to. So we're just moving, cropping this one in like this. This one now needs to go back. We can change this color to, well, that one went to blue. Let's go over to positions. This color we can change to pink, and then back to positions. The second half can now be like a lighter pink, and you can do 4 different colors this way if you would like to. Now, if I have seen where people have done it so that the skewed image going through here is see-through. Let me show you how to do that. Hollowed out version where the hollowed out goes crossways. It's a little bit more of a process, but I want to show you how to do it because I want you to know exactly how you can play around and do all of these different things. So instead of doing an effect of splice or an effect of, we're not going to do splice for this one. We're actually going to duplicate. So first thing we're going to do is we are going to duplicate this design. And then the second one, we're going to come up here to effects and we're going to go to hollow. And then from hollow, we're going to move this down to about 14, 15, whatever you feel like you want it to be. And then from there, and let me change our background color to this light blue so that you can see. We have this version and then we have the completely hollowed out version. So what we are wanting to do is we want to change our original text to white. And then we're strictly going to layer that black right over top of there. So we want there to be a white background. Just using hollow is not going to work for this instance. We do want there to be a white background here. And so what we're going to do, I'm actually going to duplicate this one. I'm going to move it. We'll move it up here and I'm going to change it back to black so that I have this one here, and then I'll bring it back in here in just a second and you'll see exactly what I mean. I'm going to put this over top of this white here. Then we are going to go to share. We are going to download with a transparent background, and I'm just going to do the current page that I'm on, which is 2, and then I'm going to download that. Once I have downloaded that, I'm going to come back over here to uploads. I'm going to drag and drop that into my uploads. You can see here, and now we'll come back up here and I'll just delete these out and I'll show you how to do this like this, and I'll change this background. We'll just go ahead and change it to the blue. So now we have our white with an outline, and then we have our black. It's important for this, for if you want the hollowed out version, to do this in black and white. So same process, we're going over here to our apps and we are going to go to the skew image. We have this one selected. We're still we need to do this at a 0. We'll do -25 and add to design. Now what we can do, we can move this one down, and then same process as we did before. We're starting over here, scaling it up to where it fits, bringing it right there in the middle. We need to make it just a little bit bigger. I like working from this cross section here. You can work from the sides if you want to, but I like making sure this cross section looks clean, just like that. Once again, same process. We're duplicating, layering it on top, just like this, coming to the middle of those, moving these, and then moving that last section to the back. So you can do that by going to position. We'll look at the layers and bringing that under there, just like that. So you just really want to make sure that you have this white is solid in front of there if you're going for the gradient look that we're getting to. Otherwise, you're going to be able to see the word behind there and it just doesn't look as nice. So now that we're here, we have this set. We once again are going to go to share. We're going to download transparent background. I'm doing current page, and then I am just going to download that. Beautiful. We're going to go back to our uploads, bring this download in here, and now I can add this one to our page, or let's just add a page, and I will bring this one down here like this. And now what I can do is I can come up here to background remover, and I can remove the background of that one. And now it's going to show through the color that you have on the background. So if you want to create, if you want to do like a gradient, it has a really cool effect with the gradient. I love the gradient with this. And then if you don't like the black, because sometimes the white shows up depending on what gradient you have, if you want to turn this whole thing white, what you're going to want to do is go to edit, and then we're going to come down here to duotone. I'm just going to pick the custom, and I'm going to change my highlights all the way to white, and then my shadows are also going to go to white, and that changes that whole thing to a white outline, and it just looks really, really cool. So that's another way that you can do this if you don't want a solid color and you want one with an outline, or you can see through. Just a couple different ways. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to jump over to Cricut Design Space, and I'm going to show you how to achieve the same look in Cricut Design Space. So now that we are here in Cricut Design Space, I will say this, you will have to have Cricut access to complete this in Design Space, just because you have to have access to the warp feature, which is a Cricut access only feature. So what you're going to do is you're going to grab your text box. I'm still going to use the same font, Birdie. And first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to type out the full name, whether that is your team name, someone's name. But the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to type out the full name. And then from there, I'm going to duplicate that. And I'm going to have the first half of the name here and then duplicate again. And I'm going to have the second half of the name there. So we have the full name here, first half here, second half here. So what it's going to do is we are going to make these kind of cross each other. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to warp the full name first. So we're going to come over here to warp, and you're going to choose which one you want, whether you want it going this way, the full name going this way, or the full name going this way. So 27 or 28, either way, we're going to choose one of those first. And then the second half, we're going to do the opposite way. So we'll go with 28, and we're going to put it all the way to 100 here. So you can change the color. Let's go ahead and change this to blue. Why not? We'll do blue here. So now what we are having to do is we're wanting to cross this one coming this way and this one going out that way. So let me just zoom out just a tad so we can really see what's happening here. So the first thing, I'm going to start with the first half of my name, which is the LAU. I'm going to come up here to warp. We did the full name with 28, so this one is going to be 27. And now you can kind of see how this is going to be coming together. And now what we're going to do is we're just going to line it up that way. And then we're going to grab the second half of the name, come up here to warp, and we're going to choose 27 again. And we're going to place it in line there, but we're going to move it to the back, just like that. Now, from there, you're pretty much done. So if you are wanting to turn this into a sticker, what you would do is after you get your color set, which I want to change this gray. I know this is the default gray. We're going to change it to this light blue because I like the kind of not ombre, but like tonal effect. What you would then do is select everything and flatten. That is going to be what you would do for if you are doing it as a print and cut. And just know, like, it's going to cut everything you see behind it. We can show you, I'll show you with the color. Let's change this color to gray. It's going to cut all of this. Now, if you wanted to add an offset to this, you can do so. Super cool effect. It is a lot less cutting if you add an offset. Just remember, you do have to flatten those two together to get this specific look. Now, if I were to, let's say, I'm going to unflatten this. If I wanted to layer the vinyl, I would not attach these two pieces together. I would actually still keep them separate. And the way that I would do it is I would start by laying this down on if I was doing this with vinyl, I would start by laying this down and only ironing the first half and not ironing the second half. That way I can line up, because this has to be layered under this vinyl. And then this piece right here would be the last one that I would put on, and I would just layer it right there on top of that. So that's kind of a workaround if you want to do it with vinyl. I really think that this project is going to be best done with a print and cut and adding an offset if you are doing it in Cricut Design Space. But there you have two different ways to complete this project or this look in two different softwares.